Hi, and welcome to Deep Dive with Jamie Stein, where we take a deep dive look at all things reality TV, pop culture, and the world at large. I'm an intuitive and an empath, which means I pick up on the thoughts, feelings, and energy percolating in other people and the world around me. I believe there is meaning waiting to be found at every turn if you're willing to see it. So join me as we dismantle everything from trash TV to high spiritual concepts and learn more about ourselves, each other, and how we're all connected. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another impromptu episode of Deep Dive with Jamie Stein. Was just catching up on Next Gen NYC on Bravo, and was so taken by Emira D'Spain's conflict with resident villain Charlie Zakkour. I think I'm saying that right. And in particular, just was really struck by the feeling that Emira had a lot more heat for Georgia than she did for Charlie. So for anyone, I guess, who isn't watching the show, Next Gen NYC, about a bunch of younger young adults in NYC making a go of things, pursuing their dreams. Emira is a very successful trans influencer, and apparently she's had a close friendship with resident villain Charlie, who is a very privileged, spoiled, self-involved, selfish, trust fund kid who's really loyal to no one. Kind of the epitome of just a spoiled bro who's had everything handed to him and doesn't really seem to have anyone else's interest in mind but his own. Anyways, Emira's had a conflict with co-star Georgia. Georgia used to also be friends with Charlie. Georgia's had a falling out with Charlie. Georgia lets Emira know, hey, just a heads up, you're defending Charlie so heavily. He has made essentially transphobic comments about you and your boyfriend. And it's interesting because Emira initially seemed very quick to forgive him and very quick to accept what felt clearly to me like a bullshit apology where he didn't really take responsibility for anything. And it was so interesting to me because Emira literally says, like, I'm the type of person who, once you cross me, you're out. Like, I'm nice until I'm not. Like, essentially, like, I'll cut a bitch. And I believe her. I believe Emira. I feel that intensity in her. Hell hath no fury, like a woman scorned. And yet she seemed so quick to forgive Charlie. And she seemed so much angrier at Georgia for delivering the news about Charlie's transphobic comments than she was at Charlie about the transphobic comments. And then she forgave him. And then in the wake of that, Georgia dropped more information of like he actually said more. There were actually more comments I didn't tell you about. And last we've seen, well, I'm an episode behind, but last we've seen Emira is acknowledging, okay, I am mad at Charlie. I am taking my space from Charlie. But still you get this sense that she's not at the level of righteous rage that you would expect her to be, given her self-described temperament, given the way that, for example, she continues to hold a grudge against Georgia. Like, it really feels like Emira deep down wants to forgive him. So I'm curious about that. So on that note, with that context established, I just want to drop into Emira towards Charlie and just see what comes up. What does she feel about this guy on a deeper level? Why is she so reluctant to leverage her self-described scorn towards him after having been betrayed by him. So this is Emira D'Spain towards Charlie Zakkour. It's really interesting. Oh, when I drop into Emira towards Charlie, I want to say, like, I actually really do feel a deep tenderness. Like, it does feel like there's genuine love from her to him. Like, I really feel this tenderness in my heart when I take him in. And it's like the way that I see him as Emira is that this is actually, that this is someone who's deeply misunderstood, for, you know, according to Emira. And it's interesting because she said on the show, something to the effect of, like, I know what he's been through, and a kind of an allusion to, like, having access to details of his personal history that maybe he hasn't shared publicly or he hasn't shared with most people. And I really heard her when she said that. Like, it felt true to me when she said that. And that's the flavor of what I'm picking up on here. It's like this guy, as I take him in, he is so deeply misunderstood by the world. And my heart goes out to him as a result. And it's almost like what's coming to me as Jamie interpreting this. It's like, because you would think, it feels counterintuitive, right? That she would have such a level of compassion for a guy who is essentially like this white, problematic, spoiled, straight trust fund kid who's like not been subjugated systemically in any way, right? Like, you would think he would be the last person to get this level of sort of grace, empathy, and compassion. But it's almost like what I feel as Emira. It's almost like that's almost what makes him more misunderstood. Because on the outside, he represents like the worst of the world. He represents the ultimate villain in her kind of more liberal, progressive, urban social circles. Like, Charlie is the absolute fucking worst. Like, he's the archetype of the bro, you know? And it's almost like as Emira, that's actually what makes him more misunderstood. Because it's like there's no out for him. There's no leeway for him. He is the guy who, in her world, gets totally written off, totally dismissed. He's irredeemable for so many people in her world. And that's precisely what makes him misunderstood, because she kind of sees this other part. It's like she knows no one else is going to give him a chance. No one else is going to give him a break. No one else is going to be willing to see his humanity. He is the guy who, in her world, everyone's going to fucking write him off. And I think there's something about that level, again, from her perspective, of him being misunderstood and no one being willing to see the humanity underneath that. Like, she relates to that. She connects to that level of feeling misunderstood and knowing what it feels like to be misunderstood by the world, and for no one to give you a fair shot, and for no one to give you a fair shake. And I think she's picking up on like a very real vulnerability in him. And I think that it touches her. And I think she wants to give him grace in the place where no one else is going to fucking give him grace. And that it touches in her the ways and places that she wasn't given grace. So that's kind of one level that comes up for me. But there's also a second level here as I take Charlie in, which it does feel like, and this is connected actually, it does feel like there's something for Emira about feeling special by feeling chosen by him. It's almost like, again, you know, you would think that he'd kind of represent the enemy to her. But there's almost something about like being chosen by the guy, one who does represent kind of like, you know, the white straight dude bro who's sort of like the enemy, you know, quote unquote, of this world, right? Not only being accepted by him, but being accepted by the guy who doesn't choose anyone. Like Charlie is a dick and an asshole to everyone. He's loyal to no one. And it's almost like Emira. There's something about being chosen by the guy who chooses no one, being receiving loyalty from the guy who shows loyalty to no one. It's like, if I can be accepted by the guy who accepts no one, well, that is a fucking deeper level of acceptance than I've ever known. And like somehow as Emira, it's almost like it means more to me to be accepted by the douchebag asshole who accepts no one, extends grace to no one, than it would be to be accepted by like people, you know, who are like-minded, you know, people who like, you know, other subjugated people, other progressive people, other people who are liberal. Like, it's almost like, yeah, that's nice. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to have those allies, but it means more to me to be chosen by the guy who doesn't actively choose others and make space for others. That's fucking real acceptance. And it's almost like, as I say that, as Emira, it's almost like I trust it more. You know, like I trust the loyalty from a kind of unrepentant asshole. Like that feels more solid and more stable to me than the loyalty of kind of quote unquote like-minded, so-called liberal progressive people. It's funny, as I'm saying this, it's almost like, as Emira, I don't like trust a lot of people. I don't trust everyone. I'll like have friendships with them and be close with them to a point, in as much as like it helps me to like maneuver in this world. And I'm suddenly aware, you know, she's apparently very successful, makes a shitload of money. She's taking care of her family. She's buying her parents' houses. It feels like and she talks about like needing to work, needing to earn money. It feels like there's like a real survival aspect to her. And it's almost like I'll use this world in as much as I can maneuver within it and be successful and generate success for myself. But it does feel, as I'm saying this for Emira, it's sort of like I'm in this on my own. And I can't really trust anyone, and no one really has my back. And I'll play the game, but I'm playing to win. And I'm playing it in as much as I can make it work to my advantage. And so then it's sort of like coming back to Charlie. It's almost like, I don't know, again, it's like there's something here I get. Like we're both movers, we're both shakers, we're both maneuverers, and there's something we get about each other. There's something about this world we kind of both see through the bullshit. Yeah, we're both hustlers. We both do what we got to do to get by. And then again, there's something about having his acceptance and loyalty. It does. It just feels more meaningful to me than the loyalty of all these other kind of like bullshit artists, is what it feels like. Yeah, I don't know. This is unexpected. It feels like Emira's like really playing the game. And there's a real lack of trust in others. And it's almost like Charlie's unapologetic assholeism and his transparent self-involvement, it somehow makes him more trustable to her. They speak a certain language. And then coming back to the original point, there's something here for me about like, oh, it's so interesting. My leg is suddenly like shaking. What is it? It's like, I don't know. I got energy moving through my body as I'm talking about this. So I'm assuming that means I'm onto something. But yeah, coming back to the original point, it's kind of game recognizing game, but then also within that seeing, like I said, the tender, misunderstood, vulnerable boy in him that no one else will see. And I think, yeah, that's sort of where there's a connection here of like, game recognizes game. I see you maneuvering through life. I also see the deeper part of you that's deeply vulnerable. And I see how you've been misunderstood by the world. And I think for her, there's like a deep connection there. And I think there was something in her that felt different. You know, it's like, Charlie's this way with other people. I'm different. I'm special. We have a connection. And I do think it felt like a safe space for her in that way. And there was also, like I said, there was also a way it made her feel chosen and accepted, perhaps in a life where she often felt not chosen, not accepted, and actively rejected and misunderstood by the world around her. So that's sort of what comes up. It's deep. It's kind of like Honor Amongst Thieves. You know what I mean? Even though I don't think Emira is a thief or a criminal. But again, it's just got that quality of like, yeah, I'm hustling, I'm surviving. I'm making this work. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm playing this world to my advantage. Trust no one. And Charlie, he gets it. He's doing the same fucking thing. So that's what comes up. All right, you guys. More to come soon. See you on the flip side. Bye.